everyone. This is Aaron at Power Popaholic, and today I'm talking to Adam Elk of the band the Mommyheads, and they have a new album coming out this month, any day now, called One-Eyed Band. How you doing today, Adam?
Doing wonderful. It's November and it's still warm in New
And it's
York, so
still
it's
warm.
good.
Yeah, I know. Who would have
Who knew?
guessed climate change would do this, you know?
I know.
I have to say before we even start, I've been following the Mommyheads pretty much since I found your debut in the dollar bin at St. Mark's Place Records.
What year was that?
Yeah, I think it was 98. I found it around there.
That's a good
But
find.
I've been enjoying it and following it. And following the Mommyheads, and at one point, I guess when you went off label and changed before, I think early 2000s, I kind of lost track of you guys. Then I found you guys again. And, I have to say, especially with the album Coming Into Beauty that I listened to, I said, if there's any American that's even close to Andy Partridge level of just just if you could be America's Andy Partridge, I'd put the title on your head right there.
That's a huge statement, dude. That's
Yeah,
that
no,
means a lot.
yeah, I just love the. I think out of a lot of artists, your lyrical content is probably the most thought provoking out of anybody who considers himself a pop artist, which is or rock pop artist, as it were. So, with all the superlatives out of the way, maybe you could tell me a little bit about how the band has evolved a little bit, because there's some people who might not know who the Mommyheads are, but they've probably heard your music definitely on college radio and other independent stations and things like that. And also the fact that you are doing a lot of stuff independently. Somebody told me that your debut album was a perfect example of a record company totally screwing a band over and
Yeah, totally.
and sort of letting them. And I said, and I thought Badfinger had it bad, but at least they promoted their first two albums.
They had some hits too, and
Yeah, and they
yeah.
said had some hits before they decided to destroy that band's life. But you didn't even get a chance to get celebrated at all. So tell me, I mean, I know it's a long story, and I'm trying to make you keep it short, but give me a little history lesson.
Well, just to start with the ignored thing, we are very zen about it now. We used to wonder why people ignored us or why we weren't getting a shot. But if you look at the top 100 now, there's no bands. There's maybe two bands, and
Right.
one's an Ecuadorian band that, and another one was constructed for The Voice or something, or they were constructed. So they're the organic band, the band that shows up together and feels like a unit from the beginning as friends and learns their instruments together. That doesn't exist anymore. They exist with our friends and people we know and people that we adore from a distance. But they'll never have success like that, top 100, like Badfinger did. So the time of the band is over, and so aside from being ignored for no reason when there were bands in the 90s, being ignored now, there's a lot of good reason to ignore us. But that said, we're very zen about it, and we just always want to make music. And so if we could just make the content, at some point there'll be a reason for people to take notice, and then we found our time. We just haven't found our time. So we started in high school in the late 80s, and in the 90s we were a real band. We would I would come in and bring sketches of songs, either full or loose, and we would arrange them together, and they would burst with sort of a band vibe, which was everyone had their place. The bass, what I equate it to, when you hear a solo artist now, you don't care who the bass player is. If you listen to any top 100 artists now, you don't care who the drummer is. It's kind of going.
Yeah.
A real band is when you care about the bass player, and that would be Rush or Genesis or Crimson, where
Right.
if Levin doesn't show up for the Beat reunion, we're all upset, and that's a real band. And so the time of bands being over means to me that it's a bunch of solo artists and their management and their label and their publicist, and the players we don't care. So we should care. We want to care. It gives diversity to the whole thing, but we don't.
Songwriter's almost pretty much gone as well. It's you need 10 people to write one song.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
If you don't need 10 people to carry your groceries to the car, you don't need 10 people to write your favorite song. It's just not necessary. So So we're just we started as a real band in the time of bands, and then major labels saw money, and we made 5 records in the 90s, 6 records, and then they dropped Geffen dropped us, and it was brutal. We got a taste of that world, which is actually chaos. They don't know what they're doing. They're just looking for you to find your friends to tour with, and and you to do interviews and whatever. They kind of have a network, but they just really it's all money. Like they just send your CDs out, and it's the front row of Tower Records, and that was as far as they went. And we did have that some places, but I knew we were doing music more for the ages and not for the time, meaning,
Very
you
good.
know, a song like Jaded, you could pick up 20 years from now and it'll still sound like a good song, but it wasn't timely when Beck and Pearl Jam were happening. And so I kind of felt out of time back then, but I just wanted to do it anyway. So that was us in the 90s. We broke up in the 2000s, so you didn't miss much. And
Right.
then our first high school drummer, Jan, died in 2007, and we got back together to play a show and loved it. And we were like, we missed this. We missed this band vibe. And since 2008, we've made like 7 or 8 records. And we realized that we just want to make music. And if there's 20 people at a show, if there's 100 people at a show, it doesn't matter. Everyone's going to get the same experience. We'll get the same experience. We don't feel very much like the world probably doesn't need us. It doesn't need most music, but we need us. We feel good
Right.
together, and we like to listen back, and we like to make it. And if people feel that good about it when they listen to it or inspired, great. But once an artist feels like the world needs you, then you're on this. You put yourself on a pedestal with 3 legs, you know, and it's not cool. And so we're literally just doing it like it's service industry, like we're plumbers, like we just want to we just want to fix the leaks in our own musical house and retar the roof and change the windows to better windows and just keep this house going and and do what we can. And we also feel like this music is so strange and different, and maybe it's needed somewhere, and maybe like we fit in somewhere, and there, you know, let's just do it and see what happens. And so that's our sort of impetus, and we're
Yeah.
on our
I,
17th or
I was
16th
just
record.
I was just gonna say, as I mentioned earlier, like I said, the comparison to XTC, like the American version of XTC, I'll give you a good example of that. The song "Pigeon in Your Tongue" on the
Totally, yeah,
Coming to Beauty album. I mean, the meter, the rhyme, it's
yeah,
very much
totally.
like something
It's
Andy would
I
write
know.
almost. And I said, "Wow, this is amazing." And I always
Yeah.
like that kind of structure, song structure. That's why I love XTC anyway. But
But
hearing
about
it come,
XTC, I've always felt that
yeah,
Andy writes for his health. He
yeah.
writes music to keep himself healthy
And
and
keep himself sane, I think.
sane. And
Yes,
it's his mental Peloton. If he doesn't do it, he'll sit around and eat bonbons. But if he does right, he'll be the best Andy that he knows, best person
yes,
he can be. And what's amazing is I feel that way. And so I do it for my health, I do it for my sanity. I feel way more balanced. I am a compulsive writer. I will admit it. I'm always writing, but it does keep me regular. It's like a routine. Like some people have jogging or they go to the gym, and I know that we share this. And I don't, and I know when I hear a songwriter who's writing for money and they're writing for acclaim, they're writing to
yeah.
get laid, they're writing to make some impression. They don't even know why they're writing, but they think they're going to get something. Then they get it and they don't want it. And if you write for your own mental health, you're always getting what you want daily. And so
Right.
there isn't this shock like, oh, I finally got everything I wanted and this stinks. I got it. I'm there. So I share that with him. And every other compulsive writer, I feel like maybe Paul Simon, you know, he keeps them loose. But there's not a ton that do it for their literal health, mental health. And a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons, and they write great songs. Zappa was a
Yep.
compulsive writer. I think Rundgren, a compulsive writer. And
Yep.
so I do share that with them, just the sheer mental stability that it sort of alludes that it gives you the illusion, at least,
Right.
and you process a lot, and that's why I feel with Andy's lyrics. I feel like he's processing every thought that comes in. He's making sense of the universe. He's making sense of magic. He's making sense of things that should not be made sense of. But when he adds a melody, he sort of gets it,
Yeah.
and I think the listener gets that. When I hear his music, I understand his desire for world peace and for just being loved, and it's such a wonderful, beautiful way to get that information with a strong melody, and it's so twisted, and I feel all his pain, and then he releases with a nice melodic chorus, and I feel his relief. And
Right.
an amazing experience to listen to their music. If anyone hasn't listened to XTC, I'm just
Yeah.
such a fan. Like I'm beyond fan. I just feel
All right,
like
we like
yeah.
geeking out over
I
being
know.
in the band, but that's fine. The cool thing is, I noticed also, and this is how I could tell you're doing music for you and not for some record company, is the fact that some of the albums, pretty much a lot of the albums after 2012, like you don't have these little 2 minute songs. You don't have this little
Yeah.
like, all right, it's a 3 minute pop song. No, it goes 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes longer if you need to. You get a theme in on every song that you play. Whether the theme is, it could be about, winter. It can be anything. But the point is that it's not rushed and it's very deliberate. Your lyrics are deliberate, and also the way the rhythms come in and then the chorus springs out later. That's also deliberate. It's
Yeah.
not sort of accidental, and it's not done to sort of, oh my goodness, I'm losing people here. I've got to throw in, a hook, you know. Although as a Power Puff
Say
guy, I
it.
love the hooks.
I know, me too. I love a good hook. Well, look, we went down this progressive hole. There are many reasons. We went to Sweden and we hung out with some real fans, and
Right,
they waited years for us to show up. And we had these long conversations, and they were all prog fans. They
right,
lean more towards 70s prog, which I love. Like every Yes song has hooks galore, but they also love Opeth and Porcupine Tree, bands that I don't even can't find one hook, but I know they're incredible. And
right.
so I accepted prog. I accepted it into my life as religious people do. But what I love about it is it gives everybody in the band who we all love great musicians. We love great musicians playing pop.
Right.
Um, and it lets us just sort of have these go off and wander off musically and have fun. And it's not just playing the song. But that said, if you listen to our music, the drummer's always playing literally every melody and every harmony. Like he's such a melodic player. We're such pop heads and hook heads that his drumming, even the tones of the toms match, and it's beautifully done. And we all play the song and we revere the song. So it's pop, it's prog pop. And so all my friends that are extreme pop heads, like where they don't like prog, I'm like, there is room for prog. It's just going off a little bit and accepting more than 2 minute, like Elvis Costello came in and did it and killed you and left. It's just a little longer and just go with it. And it's a little bit of a journey. And
Yeah,
I've embraced it. I love it. I think it's fun.
I totally agree, and I'll give you a great example. One of my favorite prog band is early Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
Right when Phil Collins started pretty much taking over the vocal duties. I mean, I loved the band earlier, but
Yeah.
even better when he started taking over, and Tony Banks really came into his own, and he led all those songs, and all those songs. There are no short little songs there, but the themes are there, the melodies are there, the hooks are
Yeah.
in each part. If you listen
Yep.
to
Yep.
the guitar part, there's a little hook, there. If you listen to the drum set, there's a little hook there. And if you and of course, on the keys, there's hooks throughout the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it tells that story. It gets you hooked with the melody and the recurring
Well,
themes.
Phil is a pop singer. He's a
Yeah,
Motown lover.
yeah,
You know, it's a great mix. Letting him
absolutely.
sing, because Peter Gabriel was of like Tales from Narnia.
Yeah,
So the mix is great. It's amazing they had those two phases that are both extremely strong. A lot of times with us, if we kill a song, or we don't kill it, but we put it aside because we're like, what's the purpose of this song? If we feel the purpose immediately, like, oh, this song needs to be presented, then we work on it. And I trust the band implicitly. But sometimes songs were like, why am I playing that? When you feel like you're not watching the movie, but you're watching the frame of the movie, or you're
right.
looking at your phone, or you're not looking at the artwork, but you're looking at the frame of the artwork, you're missing the purpose, and that move on. And so that to me, the purpose is in the hooks and the lyrics. Like, is there a lyric saying something that can back? Is there a hook that I believe in? Is there a progression I can believe in? If you can't find a couple of things, then you're out. And so that's the strength of a band. They say no a lot, and not just everything's yes, which when you're a solo artist, you're not sure. You got to hire a producer. So the strength of a band is to argue and to go, why am I playing this? What is the reason? Like, I know you wrote it, but why am I here? Why do you want me on it? And when they know it instinctively, that's you're in. And I think pop music and pop structure gives you purpose, and bad pop, there's no purpose. The lyric is lame. It's about let's party, or there's no hook that's worth
Yeah,
anything.
there's nothing
And
to
with
it.
progressive music, it's so wandering and so mathematical. When you don't hear the math anymore, to me that's good prog. And when you hear the math, like they're counting everything, one, two,
Yeah,
three, four, five, six, what did the then you lose it loses me, because then it's more math and I lose the emotion. So to mix the two, you want to make sure you're not the listener's not counting and the listener feels the purpose. And then you have good progressive pop. And I think progressive pop is the future. We've done all the great songs. I mean, you could stop with the Beatles, but we keep going. So how do we evolve? And I think progressive pop is one way to evolve pop, which is
absolutely.
music with purpose. It's three
Absolutely.
minutes in, out. I love that song. That's my wedding song. My wife loves it. My kids love it. That's purpose. So that feels good. And we're in our 50s and we still feel supercharged. And that, like, God, thank
That's amazing.
you.
That's amazing.
So
That leads me straight into One Eyed Band, your latest album, which is out there. And I'll tell you my favorite song on the album right away. Season of Our Sound. The
oh yeah.
longest song, but it's also my favorite song. It like sort of grows and grows and grows, just like a good prog song. You sort of sit around and you say, okay, where's this going? And then you say, there's the path, leads you
Yeah.
right into, and then the chorus is just glorious. There's all this stuff that just comes in. It's wonderful. And also, I felt listening also to past albums and comparing it to your newest one, I think your balladry has gotten much better. Human Being is another great song on this album that just
Yeah.
it tells a really good story, and it does it sort of almost not talking at you but to you,
Right.
as far as
It's a
the way.
conversation.
Yes, yes, the best lyrics, narratives, I feel, put that conversation like you're actually intimately talking to that other person, alone, and you're not sort of speaking to the audience as a mass.
I totally agree. I think that if the listener feels involved, like, I'm not a huge Dylan fan, but when he goes, "You've got a lot of nerve to say," I'm
Yeah,
like, how does he know me? Like, are we
yeah,
talking? Are we having a conversation? He just goes right into, like, mid conversation, like you were put on hold for a minute. Now he's back. And he's like, what was I saying? You got a lot. And that's a conversation. And for the listener to be involved lyrically in a conversation, and it's not just here are the tales I've been through. I've been through
yeah,
me. That's really amazing lyric writing. And love or hate him or any other great lyricist, they involve you, and it's creepy and you're sucked in. It's like a water slide. And it's that moment right before and you just let go and you're just sliding around. You cannot stop. And
yes,
that's a great lyric. And for me, it's like if you're on that water slide, you're just going with that writer and you trust them and they have a cool voice and they're leading you down and the music's good. And it's a conversation. I love that. I think that to me is
well,
the
I
best lyric.
definitely think Human Being is one of those type of songs. But
Cool.
maybe you want to start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about how One Eyed Band, how this album came together, and a little bit about the first song, Chicken Soup.
Yeah. So the whole concept that I push towards the band is I'm the pusher. So everybody's like would be happy with one record every 10 years, maybe every 5 years. I'm the guy who's like, we got to do it every year. We don't know how long we have left. Not, and I'm not depressed about it, but I feel like we know how to do this. This is the easy thing to do in life. Paying bills is hard. Putting kids through college is hard. So why don't we do it every year? So I'm always pushing, pushing, pushing.
Right.
And now the themes has become about the pushing. So Season of Our Sound is really about the band on the road. Why are we doing this? It's just questioning the whole thing. And the map back to who we are is in these chords. If you listen to the chord structure and the letters, it's like a code bringing you back to your source when you first decided you love music. That's what the song is about. It's like retracing your steps back to that original impetus that made you say, I love this and I want to do it for my life, because we lose our way. And so that's Season of Our Sound. The first song, Chicken Soup, is about your impression of society. Like, it's technically about a guy, and his ship lands on another planet, and he's sitting there with the remains of his parachute, and it's a hammock, and he's utilizing everything, like things that an oxygen tank is now a coffee cup, and he's looking, but he sees Earth. And he knows how messed up we are, and he's like, "Should I go back? I want to go back because I have this new perspective. Maybe I could save humanity with all my new thoughts, but maybe I'm okay here." So that's Chicken Soup. Uh, and it just keeps going. Life is a Dream is about being a father and a dad and the mom, we're all the things we do around the house and the chores, and forgetting what the hell we're doing, and how did we get into this, and why did we decide to have kids and do a family, and how crazy it is, and how dreamlike life is. Architect is about making your stamp on things. It's about it's really about someone young, like a teenager who's on a school trip in a museum, taking notes and seeing these sculptures and getting their mind blown and going, I want to have a sculpture. I want my name on the wing. How do I get there? And how it could ruin you as a person. It could, and that's just side one. And Human Being is about, do you deserve love because you just are alive? Like,
Yeah,
everybody
I love those lyrics.
it's just like, I'm alive, love me. Like, no, you got to earn it. So that's side one. and for me, it's catharsis. I'm just spewing, and all these themes are questions, and maybe with music, someone out in the universe hears it and sends me a message in a bottle, going, "Hey, I think I have an answer," and sends me an email, and we just have a connection. I get emails all the time from DJs or people, and if they have thoughts, then I'm all in, because I'm not an entertainer. This is a communication business,
Right.
So let's communicate. So that's side one. And One-Eyed Band just means, are we so focused? Are we making something good? We're always going forward with one eye. Do we have the stereo scope to question ourselves? And why are we doing this? So it's all questions.
Well, I think you ask great questions, and you give some answers along the way, particularly on some of the earlier albums and things like that. But one of the things that I have to tell you that is also admirable, and something that not too many artists do, is you have made your entire catalog available on Bandcamp. You have it as a name your price structure, which I know a lot of artists will do from time to time. Sometimes they'll have specials where they'll be like, "Hey, listen to my stuff. If you like it, send me what you think it's worth. Send me something." Or if you can't afford it and you just want to listen to the music, hey, just download it. But you've done this with your whole catalog, and I think it's admirable to be able to have that faith in yourself, faith in the band, to be able to say, we're not going to give you bits. We're giving you quality work here, and we expect you as a listener to appreciate it and enjoy it. And it's a little bit like PBS. We don't do this stuff. We want you to contribute as well.
That's a great.
That's how I compare it.
Look, the day we realized we're not going to make money at this. The music is too esoteric, too weird. It's going to fall through cracks at every turn, and the people who like it will know them all, and will adore and love them. But it's not going to be crowds of faceless people. And the day we realized that, we all got day jobs and careers.
Yeah.
And it was actually the best day of the band, because all that pressure left and it just went away. Like, we have to just have record deals with Epic Records and Columbia Records. No, you don't. You have your day job,
Right.
and then this is your fun thing. This is your bowling league you do with your friends. This is like Big Lebowski. We have, our name tags. We go and bowl. We talk to each other about our problems. We rock out. We come and we go back home, and everything is sort of, it's not siloed because we're writing songs about life and it mixes,
Right.
but the experience is pure. The experience of writing is pure. The experience of playing is pure. The experience of recording is pure. And that makes a pure listen. And so the day job provides the money. So, and now with everything being free, why fight it? So name your price. It could be a penny, but I just want you to experience our experience of having a more pure sort of experience making this. I want people to just have that. And if you're compromised financially, then what's the use of making you have to pay more anything really?
Right.
I mean, it's sad that art is like this, but I get it. And it's like we have our job, so we're fine.
No, that's good. That's good, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing for. I'm a big Bandcamp advocate, and every month I put out singles. I post singles of artists that basically some of them, please give $1. Others are just like, hey, pay what you can, and that's fine as long as you hear the music. Because you know what, if the more scarce you make your music, the more scarce you'll have people who are interested in your music anyway. Even if they don't hear, they'll never hear it. So, back, it's not the early 60s anymore where you can't get your music from the record store. You can get it everywhere. So,
Right.
yeah, so that I think it's a good strategy. And I would encourage other bands to follow your lead, actually, because the way you do it, not just the fact that you're offering that, but the way you're doing it, what you're offering as well, as far as lyrics, credits, all this stuff comes with the download, is something that's above and beyond, I think, a lot of indie bands right now.
Well,
One
that's
thing I
good to
was going
hear.
to ask as well is, so do you ever, because it's, you all have day jobs, how often are you able to go live and play as a band together on stage somewhere once in a while?
Yeah, we did the Southeast. We did Richmond and Charlottesville and Greensboro last month. We just got back from the West Coast, so we played Seattle, Portland, Eugene, San Francisco,
Great.
Santa Cruz. We played the Midwest for the first time since the early 90s. We played Chicago, Milwaukee, Manitowoc. I'm saying it wrong. Cleveland, Columbus. We play Philly a lot. We play Boston a lot. And we're playing New York on the 15th of November. And
Oh,
we play Sweden a ton. We play Europe. And I just got back from Japan. I played Osaka and Tokyo, and that was amazing.
great.
It's not gangbusters. If people in Florida, I feel really bad. It's hard to get down there, and Texas is tough, but we'll eventually make it. It's just it's not easy. Touring is very expensive, and you need to have at least 50 people, 60 people, and even getting people out's tough. People work from home, they live from
Yep.
home, they do everything in their home now, and there's always a lot of competition. So we try to make it as many places as possible. But yeah,
When,
it is fun.
when are you coming to New York?
15th of November, we're playing the Bowery Electric with Steve Conti, who played 10 years in the New York Dolls
Yep.
reunion, 2000, 2010. He's an old friend. He plays in I think he played in Blood, Sweat and Tears for a minute, and he has his own band, and he's on the record label, Little Stevie's underground record label.
Yep.
So we're doing a double bill. It's gonna be awesome. November 15th to Friday.
All right.
Um,
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent. Well, the time is flying by.
there
So
we go.
yeah, I know. Adam, totally appreciate the time you spent. We'll do our best to promote the Mommy Heads, and like I said, love your music here. Everybody, the album to pick up is called One Eyed
One Eyed
Band.
Band, November 9th, it's digital. And I have CDs on the website. The Swedish label Fanfare sends us LPs that are gorgeous, but that takes a little longer. That could be January, February. But it is technically out digitally November 9th, which is our bass player Jason's birthday. So, and it's already on Bandcamp. So I hope people enjoy it.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Adam. Appreciate everything that you
Thank
do.
you. I love.
Doing it.
I mean, your whole perspective is right on, and the XTC thing is right on, and keep doing what you're doing. So we'll both keep doing what we're doing.
All right, appreciate it. Take care.